The stars shone brightly against the darkness of space as Captain Ethan Clark stood on the bridge of the USS Vengeance. The massive ship, Earth's newest and most powerful defense vessel, hummed with energy as it patrolled the outer edges of the solar system. Ethan watched the main screen with careful eyes. Something didn't feel right today. "Captain, we're picking up unusual readings," said Lieutenant Olivia Martinez. Her fingers moved quickly across her console. "Multiple objects, approaching from Sector 7. Ethan walked to her station. "Natural or artificial?" "Definitely artificial, sir. Moving at speeds that suggest advanced propulsion systems." Ethan's heart beat faster. After years of searching the stars, humanity might finally have its answer to the age-old question, "Are we alone?" He pressed a button on his command chair. "Admiral Hughes, this is Captain Clark. We have possible first contact scenario. Request immediate guidance." The stern face of Admiral Gregory Hughes appeared on screen. "Captain, hold position. I'm contacting NASA's First Contact Division. Keep those objects on your scanners and prepare for any scenario." The next 12 hours passed in tense preparation. The USS Vengeance was joined by 3 other Earth Defense Force ships as they formed a protective line between Earth and the approaching vessels. Dr. Samantha Ellis arrived by shuttle, her team of linguists and xenobiologists working frantically to prepare potential communication methods. Samantha was the leading expert in theoretical alien communication. She had never expected to use her skills in real life. "Their formation suggests intelligence and organization," she said, pointing to the screen in the ship's conference room. "The way they're moving implies a unified command structure." Ethan nodded. "But are they friendly?" "That's what we need to find out." Samantha pushed her red hair behind her ears. "We've prepared basic mathematical sequences and visual symbols that should communicate peaceful intentions." As the alien fleet came closer, its size became apparent. 23 ships of varying sizes arranged in a precise formation. The largest was nearly twice the size of the Vengeance. "Begin transmission of the welcome package," ordered Admiral Hughes from Earth Command. Samantha's team sent their carefully crafted message, simple mathematics, basic chemical formulas, and images showing human figures with open hands. Universal. Concepts that should convey their peaceful intentions. For 3 hours nothing happened. Then a signal came back. "They're responding." Samantha's voice was filled with excitement as data flowed into the ship's computers. The alien response contained similar mathematical sequences, followed by images of their own species. Tall, reptilian creatures with 4 arms and elongated heads. "They're called the Draconid Collective," Samantha explained as her team worked to understand the incoming information. "From what we can tell, they represent a group of species that have joined together." Admiral Hughes appeared on screen again. "Dr. Ellis, can you arrange direct communication?" "We're working on a translation matrix now, Admiral. Give us a few more hours." The aliens continued to approach, now just beyond Mars's orbit. Earth's united government leaders gathered in emergency session while citizens across the planet watched. The news with a mixture of fear and wonder. Ethan couldn't shake his uneasiness. Why so many ships for a first contact? That's a war fleet, not a diplomatic mission. Samantha looked up from her work. "Many cultures might see military strength as a sign of respect. We shouldn't jump to conclusions." By the following morning, Samantha had established basic communication. The Draconid commander, who identified himself as High General Vorax, agreed to a video conference. The creature that appeared on screen had green scales and yellow eyes with vertical pupils. When it spoke, its voice was translated by the computer into a deep, rumbling English. "We greet the emerging species of Earth," said Vorax. "The Draconid Collective has watched your development with interest." Admiral Hughes led the conversation from Earth. "We welcome peaceful contact with your people. We have much to learn from each other." "Indeed," said Vorax. "Your species has advanced quickly, particularly your weapons technology." Ethan frowned. "Why focus on weapons? Our technology serves many purposes," replied Hughes carefully. "Defense is only one aspect of our development." "Of course," said Vorax. "We would like to learn more about your colonies on Mars and Europa, their development, is impressive. Something in the alien's tone made Ethan's skin crawl. He looked at Samantha, who also appeared concerned. The conversation continued for nearly an hour, with the aliens asking pointed questions about Earth's defenses, population centers, and energy capabilities. They shared little about themselves, in return. When the call ended, Admiral Hughes immediately ordered a private channel. "I don't like this," he said. "They're gathering intelligence, not making friends." Ethan nodded. "We should put the fleet on alert status, sir." "Already done." "Dr. Ellis, what's your assessment?" Samantha bit her lip. "They're being careful with their words, but there's something predatory in their approach. The way they speak about us sounds like they're evaluating a potential threat, not greeting equals." The warning sirens blared before she could say more. "Multiple energy spikes from the alien fleet," shouted Lieutenant Martinez. "They're powering weapons, shields. Up, all ships, defensive positions," Ethan ordered as he jumped to his chair. The first blast hit the smallest Earth ship, cutting through its shields like they weren't there. The second hit the colony on Europa, destroying the dome that protected 10,000 colonists. "They're attacking all outposts simultaneously," reported Martinez as data flooded in. "Mars colony is under heavy fire." Admiral Hughes's face was grim on the screen. "All ships engage hostile forces. This is not a drill. Repeat, this is not a drill. Earth is under attack." The space around Mars lit up with weapons fire as Earth's unprepared forces faced the superior alien technology. The Vengeance shook as enemy fire struck its shields. "Return fire all batteries," ordered Ethan. "Focus on the smaller ships first." Earth's forces fought bravely but were outmatched. Within hours, Mars colony was in flames, Europa station destroyed, and 3 Earth ships lost. The Vengeance and 2 other vessels managed to destroy 5 enemy ships before being forced to retreat toward Earth. President Sophia Reynolds addressed the stunned planet as defense forces mobilized worldwide. "Citizens of Earth, today we face the greatest threat in human history. Without provocation or warning, we have been attacked by an alien force. But humanity will not fall easily. We will fight. We will endure. And we will remember that the Draconid Collective chose war when we offered peace." As the Vengeance limped back to Earth orbit, Ethan stared at the approaching enemy fleet. Beside him, Samantha watched the devastation reports from Mars with tears in her eyes. "Why?" she whispered. "We posed no threat to them." Admiral Hughes joined them on the bridge, his uniform dusty from the emergency shuttle flight from Earth. "Command. Because they fear what we might become," he said grimly. "And after today, they'll have good reason for that fear. Captain Clark, prepare your ship. Dr. Ellis, we need everything you learned about them. This is just the beginning." Outside, Earth's defense platforms activated as the planet prepared for its first interstellar war. 1 month after the attack, Earth was a changed world. The underground military base beneath the Rocky Mountains buzzed with activity as soldiers and scientists worked around the clock. Deep inside the mountain, Dr. Samantha Ellis stared at Alien, text scrolling across her screen. Dark circles under her eyes showed she hadn't slept much since the attack. "Any progress?" asked Major Ryan Peterson as he entered her lab. The tall, broad-shouldered officer carried 2 cups of coffee. Samantha took one gratefully. "Some. We captured enough of their communication data to start understanding their language patterns." "And?" Ryan sat down beside her. "The Draconid Collective isn't just one alien race. It's 7 different species that formed an alliance centuries ago." She pulled up images on her screen. "The reptilian ones we saw are the leaders, but there are 6 other species under them." Ryan frowned. "Why would they attack us without warning?" "That's what I'm trying to figure out." Samantha pointed to a translated document. "From what I can tell, they have a policy about emerging spacefaring races." "A policy?" "They eliminate them before they can become threats." Samantha's voice was bitter. "It's standard procedure for them. They've done it at least 12 times. Before." Ryan cursed under his breath. "So we were just next on their list." "Exactly. They don't see it as cruel. To them, it's just pest control." The door opened and Admiral Hughes walked in with a young woman. The woman had brown skin and dark hair pulled back in a tight bun. Her left arm was in a cast. Dr. Ellis, Major Peterson, this is Zara Khatri. She survived the Europa colony attack. Zara nodded stiffly. I was in an outer maintenance tunnel when they hit us. The section sealed automatically before decompression. Zara has information that might help us, said Hughes. She worked in xenobiology. I saw their soldiers up close, said Zara. They boarded our station before destroying it completely. I managed to record some footage before escaping in an emergency pod. She handed Samantha a small data drive. The footage showed reptilian soldiers moving through the colony corridors. They wore minimal armor and carried what looked like organic weapons that had grown rather than been built. Their biology is fascinating, said Zara. They can survive in vacuum for short periods without protection. And look at how they communicate. The aliens in the video made quick hand gestures and head movements along with vocal sounds. Multiple communication methods simultaneously, said Samantha. That could be useful information. Ryan studied the footage of the weapons. These don't look like anything we've seen before. Their technology seems partly organic, explained Zara. It's like their ships and weapons are grown rather than manufactured. Admiral Hughes nodded. That matches what our engineers found examining the debris from the ships we managed to destroy. The door opened again and a thin man with glasses entered. Chief Engineer Alan Sutton carried a strange-looking device that pulsed with a soft blue light. Admiral, I think we've got something, he said excitedly. We've been studying the alien technology, and we've made a breakthrough. Everyone gathered around as Sutton placed the device on the table. Their technology responds to specific bioelectric signals, he explained. It's keyed to their unique biology, but we've found a way to interfere with those signals. What does that mean in simple terms? Asked Hughes. It means we might be able to shut down their weapons remotely, said Sutton, or even turn their own technology against them. For the first time since the attack, Samantha felt a spark of hope. How soon until we can deploy something like this? We need more testing, but weeks rather than months, replied Sutton. Admiral Hughes nodded. Good work. We'll need every advantage. Our scouts report they're gathering a larger fleet just beyond Saturn's orbit. They're coming back to finish the job, said Ryan grimly. Yes, but this time we'll be ready. Hughes pulled up a map of the solar system. We're calling in every ship we have, even the colony vessels are being retrofitted with weapons. It won't be enough, said Zara. I saw what a small portion of their fleet did to Europa. We had no chance. Maybe not in a fair fight, agreed Hughes. But humans don't fight fair when our survival is at stake. The next day, President Sophia Reynolds called a global meeting of Earth's military and scientific leaders. The large underground conference room was filled to capacity. The Draconid Collective believes we are weak, she said. They expect us to be easy prey like the other species they've eliminated, but they've never faced humans before. Engineer Sutton presented his findings on alien technology, while Dr. Ellis shared what she had learned about the collective structure and communication methods. Their society is strictly hierarchical, explained Samantha. The reptilian Draconids are at the top, with the other species serving under them. Some may not even support this war against us. That gives us potential allies, noted President Reynolds. If we can communicate with the other species. Major Peterson stood next. Based on the wreckage we've studied, their ships have a critical weakness. They prioritize offensive capability over protection. Their shields are strongest at the front but weaker on the underside. The meeting continued for hours as Earth's leaders debated strategy. Some argued for attempting diplomatic solutions, while others insisted only a strong military response would work. We can't negotiate with them, said Admiral Hughes. They see us as vermin to be exterminated. But maybe we can show them we're not worth the cost, suggested Dr. Ellis. If we make defeating us too expensive, they might reconsider. As the debate continued, an alert sounded. A young officer rushed into the room. Madam President, our deep space outpost has captured a high-ranking Draconid commander. Their shuttle was damaged in an asteroid field and our patrol ship intercepted them. The room fell silent. Bring the commander here, ordered President Reynolds. It's time we learned more about our enemy directly. 2 days later, the alien commander was brought to a secure room in the mountain base. The tall reptilian creature stood proudly despite being in chains. Its yellow eyes showed no fear. Dr. Ellis led the interrogation with Major Peterson and Admiral Hughes present. The alien, who called himself Krelvac, spoke through a translation device. "Your efforts are futile," said Krelvac. "The collective has eliminated 17 emerging species before yours. You will be the 18th. "Why?" asked Samantha. "We posed no threat to you." "All new spacefaring races are potential threats," replied the alien. "In 1,000 years you might challenge us. We eliminate that possibility early." "Then you made a serious mistake," said Admiral Hughes. "You should have destroyed us completely the first time." The alien made a gesture that might have been amusement. "We will correct that error soon." "Not if we stop you first," said Samantha. Krelvac stared at her with those unnerving yellow eyes. "You have spirit, but spirit alone will not save you when our main fleet arrives." As they left the interrogation room, Major Peterson looked troubled. "He's awfully confident." "Yes," agreed Samantha, "but he doesn't understand humans yet. We're not like the other species they've encountered." "How so?" asked the Admiral. "Because," said Samantha, "when backed into a corner, humans don't surrender. We fight harder." Admiral Hughes nodded. "And this time, we'll be ready for them." The USS Vengeance moved silently through the darkness of space near Jupiter's orbit. Captain Ethan Clark stood on the bridge, watching as his crew prepared for battle. The ship had been upgraded with new weapons based on the captured alien technology. No one knew if they would work when the time came. "All systems ready, Captain," reported Lieutenant Olivia Martinez from her tactical station. Her uniform was crisp, but strain showed in her eyes. Like everyone else, she had lost friends in the first attack. "Good. Keep us hidden in Jupiter's magnetic field," ordered Ethan. "We need the element of surprise." The plan was risky. Earth's forces were spread throughout the solar system, hiding near planets and moons, waiting for the Draconid fleet to pass. Unlike the first attack, they would not face the enemy head-on. This time, they would strike from the shadows. "Captain, incoming transmission from Commander Wells," said the communications officer. The screen lit up showing Commander Nathan Wells. His face was partially covered in camouflage paint that matched the dark colors of his Special Operations uniform. "Captain Clark, my team is in position," reported Wells. "We've reached the outer hull of the Draconid command station." "Good work, Commander. Proceed as planned. And Nathan, be careful." Wells nodded. "We'll see you on the other side." The screen went dark. Ethan took a deep breath. Wells and his team of 12 Special Operations soldiers were attempting something never done before: boarding an alien outpost. The small Draconid station orbited one of Jupiter's moons, serving as a forward base for their invasion force. Back on Earth, Dr. Gillian Parker worked frantically in her laboratory. The young weapons scientist had been studying the biological components of Draconid technology for weeks. Around her, samples of alien materials filled containment units. "The breakthrough came when we realized their weapons aren't just grown. They're alive," she explained to Admiral Hughes and Dr. Ellis. "They respond to specific biological signals from their Draconid users." "And you can interrupt those signals?" asked Hughes. "Better than that." Gillian held up a small device. "We can send our own signals. Effectively, we can talk to their technology." Samantha looked impressed. "You can control their weapons?" "Not fully control, but we can confuse them. Maybe even shut them down temporarily." Admiral Hughes nodded. "Mass produce as many as you can. Every ship needs this technology." On the Draconid command station, Commander Wells and his team moved silently through dimly lit corridors. Their specially designed suits concealed their heat signatures from alien sensors. Each soldier carried new weapons developed from studying the Draconid technology. "Command center should be 2 levels up," whispered Wells to his team. "Remember, we need their data cores intact." They encountered 2 reptilian guards at a junction. Sergeant Lisa Reeves fired her weapon. a silent dart filled with a sedative specifically designed for draconid biology. Both aliens dropped without a sound. "Nice shot," said Wells. They reached the command center and placed small devices on the door, disruptors that would temporarily confuse the organic components of the alien technology. The door slid open, revealing 6 startled draconids. The fight was quick and silent. 15 minutes later, Wells accessed the alien computer system. "Jackpot," he said, inserting a data device. "They've got records of everything here." As the data downloaded, one of his team called out from another console. "Commander, look at this. It's their target list." Wells looked at the screen showing dozens of worlds. Each had a status label. Many read neutralized. Earth was labeled in progress. "They've been doing this for thousands of years," said Wells grimly, "wiping out any species that reaches space." Back on the Vengeance, Lieutenant Martinez suddenly straightened in her chair. "Captain, we've got movement. The main Draconid fleet is entering the solar system." Ethan moved to her station. The tactical display showed over 50 alien ships, moving past Neptune's orbit. "Alert all ships. Maintain position until they reach the designated point." Ethan turned to his communications officer. "Any word from Commander Wells?" "Yes, sir. Mission successful. They've extracted with the data and are heading to the rendezvous point." Ethan allowed himself a small smile. "At least something's going right." On Earth, Dr. Parker received urgent news from her team analyzing the data Wells had stolen. "The Draconid ships have a major weakness," she told Admiral Hughes over a secure line. "Their flagship relies on a specific communication frequency to coordinate the fleet. If we can disrupt it, they lose formation coordination." Finished. Hughes. "Lieutenant Martinez needs this information immediately." The information was transmitted to all Earth ships using a new encryption method. When Lieutenant Martinez received it, she immediately called Captain Clark to her station. "Look at this, sir," she said excitedly. "Their flagship's defense shield has a fluctuation pattern. If we time our attacks precisely..." Ethan studied the data. "We can punch through. Good work, Lieutenant. Prepare a firing solution and transmit the timing to all ships." The Draconid fleet moved deeper into the solar system, unaware they were being watched. Their massive ships approached Mars, likely intending to establish a forward base where human colonies had once stood. "All ships, prepare to execute Plan Thunderstrike on my mark," said Ethan over the fleet-wide channel. "Remember, hit and fade. Don't stay in their firing range." As the alien fleet passed the designated point, Ethan gave the order. "Execute now." Throughout the solar system, Earth ships emerged from hiding. The Vengeance fired first, its new weapons striking the rear section of a Draconid cruiser. The alien ship's shields flickered oddly, then failed completely as the disruptor technology did its work. Other Earth ships struck simultaneously, targeting engines and weapon systems with surgical precision. 6 Draconid ships were crippled in the first attack wave. "It's working!" shouted Martinez as the Vengeance swooped away from enemy fire. "Their weapons are struggling to lock onto us." The Draconid fleet responded with furious but uncoordinated fire. Without their usual precision, many shots missed their targets. Earth's smaller, more agile ships darted between the larger alien vessels, firing their disruptors before retreating. On the Draconid flagship, the captured commander Krelvak watched the battle with growing concern. Admiral Hughes had brought him to observe from a secure room. "Impossible," said the alien. "How are you confusing our targeting systems?" Hughes smiled coldly. "You shouldn't have left technology for us to study. Even so, you cannot win. Our fleet outnumbers yours." "We don't need to outnumber you," replied Hughes. "We just need to outsmart you." As the battle continued, Commander Wells's team delivered the stolen data to Dr. Ellis and her team. They discovered the complete history of the Draconid Collective's campaign against emerging species. "There are patterns here," said Samantha, as she studied the records. "They follow the same playbook every time because it's always worked before. But not this time," said Wells. "No," agreed Samantha. "This time they're fighting humans." The battle raged across the solar system for 3 days. Earth suffered losses, but the Draconid fleet lost more ships than in all their previous campaigns combined. Their once perfect formation was in disarray as Earth's forces used the planets, moons, and asteroids to their advantage. Finally, the Draconid flagship sent out a signal. Their fleet began to withdraw, pulling back toward the outer solar system. "They're retreating," said Martinez in disbelief. Captain Clark shook his head. "No. They're regrouping. This isn't over." He opened a channel to Earth. "Admiral, we've won the first round, but they'll be back." "Agreed," said Hughes. "But now we know their weaknesses, and next time we'll be even better prepared." The temporary victory gave Earth precious time to prepare. 2 weeks later, Admiral Gregory Hughes stood in the war room beneath the Rocky Mountains. Around him, military officers and civilian leaders studied a large holographic display showing the edge of the solar system. "They're gathering here just beyond Pluto's orbit," said Hughes, pointing to a cluster of red dots. "Our scouts report over 100 ships now, including their Supreme Command vessel." President Sophia Reynolds frowned. "Can we beat that many?" "Not in a traditional battle," admitted Hughes, "but Captain Clark has proposed a plan that might work." Captain Ethan Clark stepped forward. "Madam President, the Draconids fight using standard tactics that have worked for them across thousands of years. They've never needed to adapt because they've never faced serious resistance." "Until now," said Reynolds. "Exactly. We need to use that against them." Ethan adjusted the display to show Earth's remaining fleet. "They expect us to defend Earth directly. Instead, we'll position our main fleet here at the edge of the system." "That leaves Earth vulnerable," noted one general. "Seemingly vulnerable," corrected Ethan. "But we'll have our secret weapon ready." All eyes turned to Dr. Jillian Parker, who stood nervously beside a covered object on a cart. "Dr. Parker, please explain," said Hughes. Jillian removed the cover, revealing a small black sphere about the size of a basketball. "This is the disruptor core. Based on the alien technology we've studied, it emits a signal that interferes with the Draconid ship's organic components." "Like their version of an EMP?" asked Reynolds. "Similar, but more targeted. It specifically disrupts the neural pathways in their biomechanical systems." Jillian looked proud. "One device can disable a small ship. But we've built a larger version." "How large?" asked Reynolds. "Large enough to affect their entire fleet if they group together," said Hughes. "But we need to get them in position first." The plan was set. Earth would make its stand at the edge of the solar system, with the bulk of its fleet positioned to intercept the Draconid armada. Meanwhile, special teams would deploy the disruptor core at a critical moment. In the medical wing of the mountain base, Dr. Samantha Ellis visited the captured Draconid commander, Krelvak. The alien sat in a specially designed cell, watching her with suspicious yellow eyes. "Your leaders are fools," said Krelvak. "Your species should surrender now. We might preserve some of you as specimens." Samantha sat across from him. "We've been studying your records. You've destroyed 17 spacefaring civilizations before." "Us. 17 successful cleansings," confirmed the alien. "Yours will be the 18th. "Why? What threat did those species pose to you?" Krelvak made a gesture with his clawed hand. "The strong survive. The weak perish. This is the law of the universe. But you never gave them a chance to prove their strength. By the time a species reaches your level of development, their path is set. You would expand, consume resources, and eventually threaten the collective. We eliminate that possibility early." Samantha leaned forward. "You made a miscalculation with humans. We're not like the others." The alien's eyes narrowed. "You are no different. Just another primitive species with delusions of importance." "Then why haven't you won already?" asked Samantha as she stood to leave. "Think about that in your cell." 3 days later, the Draconid fleet began its advance into the solar system. This time, they moved in tight formation, clearly expecting Earth's hit-and-run tactics from the previous battle. On the bridge of the USS Vengeance, Captain Ethan Clark watched their approach on the main screen. "They've learned something from the last battle," he noted, "staying closer together for mutual protection." Lieutenant Olivia Martinez nodded. "Playing right into our hands." Ethan opened a channel to all Earth ships. "All vessels assume battle formation Delta. Remember the plan. Hold them at the designated coordinates and wait for the signal. Earth's fleet of 47 ships formed a curved line between the incoming aliens and the inner solar system. The Vengeance took position at the center, its new weapon systems humming with energy. Draconid fleet will be in range in 10 minutes, reported Martinez. Ethan contacted Earth Command. Admiral, we're in position. How's our special package? Admiral Hughes's voice came over the secure channel. Commander Wells and his team are in place. The core is ready. Good. All we need to do is hold them long enough. As the alien fleet approached, they broadcast a message to all Earth frequencies. The face of a senior Draconid appeared on screen, larger and more decorated than Krelvak. Attention, human vessels. This is High Commander Vexthor of the Draconid Collective. Your resistance has been noted, but it is futile. Surrender now and your species may be permitted limited survival under our supervision. President Reynolds responded from Earth Command. This is President Sophia Reynolds of Earth. We will not surrender our planet or our right to exist. This is your final opportunity to withdraw from our solar system peacefully. The alien commander made a sound that might have been laughter. You are in no position to make demands. Your extinction is inevitable. The transmission ended. Ethan took a deep breath. All ships, prepare for combat. Let's show them what humans are capable of. The battle began with a massive volley from the Draconid ships. Earth's vessels scattered, using the tactics they had developed, quick, unpredictable movements that made them difficult targets. Their aim is better this time, noted Martinez as the Vengeance shuddered from a near miss. They've adapted their targeting systems. We expected that, replied Ethan. Execute Maneuver Bravo 6. The Earth fleet began a carefully choreographed dance, drawing the Draconid ships toward the designated coordinates. 3 Earth vessels were hit badly, one exploding in a silent flash of light. Keep them moving toward Sector 7, ordered Ethan. We need all of them inside the zone. For 2 hours, the battle raged across the outer solar system. Earth ships took losses but succeeded in their primary goal, herding the Draconid fleet toward a specific area of space. Admiral, we've got 90% of their fleet in the target zone, reported Ethan. Is the core ready? Commander Wells reports it's charged and ready to activate, replied Hughes. Waiting for your signal. Ethan watched as the last group of Draconid ships moved into position, pursuing Earth vessels that appeared to be retreating. Now, he said, activate the core. In a small stealth vessel hidden among the debris of a destroyed moon, Commander Nathan Wells pressed his hand against a scanner. The black sphere they had positioned began to glow with blue energy. Core activated, he reported. Output at maximum. For a moment, nothing happened. Then, across the Draconid fleet, ships began to falter. Their weapons stopped firing. Engines sputtered and died. The massive vessels began drifting aimlessly. It's like working, exclaimed Martinez. Their systems are failing. Ethan opened a channel to all Earth ships. All vessels, target their command ship. Concentrate all fire on its engine section. Earth's fleet turned as one and unleashed everything they had on the massive Draconid flagship. Without its shields, the vessel took devastating damage. Secondary explosions rippled across its hull. On Earth, President Reynolds watched the battle unfold with Admiral Hughes and Dr. Ellis. We've crippled their fleet, said Hughes with satisfaction. But they're not destroyed. Good, said Reynolds. I want them to deliver a message. She turned to Samantha. Dr. Ellis, can you establish communication with their command ship? I believe so, Madam President. Do it. It's time to deliver Earth's final warning. The Draconid command ship drifted through space, its once powerful engines silent. Around it, nearly 100 alien vessels floated helplessly, caught in the invisible field of the disruptor core. Earth's fleet surrounded them, weapons ready. The bridge of the USS Vengeance, Captain Ethan Clark watched the main screen as Dr. Samantha Ellis worked to establish communication with the alien flagship. Connection established, she said finally. They can see and hear us. The face of High Commander Vexthor appeared on screen. The reptilian alien looked shocked, his yellow eyes wide with disbelief. This is impossible, he hissed. No emerging species has ever defeated a cleansing fleet. President Sophia Reynolds stepped into view beside Ethan. Even through a video link, she projected authority and determination. "This is President Reynolds of Earth. Your fleet is disabled. Your weapons are offline. You are at our mercy." The alien commander's scales darkened in what might have been anger or fear. "What do you want? To destroy us? Take your revenge?" "If we wanted to destroy you, you would already be dead," replied Reynolds calmly. "Unlike the Draconid Collective, humans don't eliminate other species simply because we can." Vexthor seemed confused by this. "Then what do you want?" "First, I want you to listen." Reynolds nodded to Admiral Hughes, who activated a separate screen. The screen showed images from the data Commander Wells had stolen, records of the 17 civilizations the Draconids had destroyed. Each showed a different species reaching for the stars before being systematically wiped out. "You've been doing this for thousands of years," said Reynolds, "eliminating any species that might one day challenge you. But that ends today." "You cannot dictate terms to the collective," protested Vexthor, though his voice lacked conviction. "Actually, we can, and we will." Reynolds' voice hardened. "Dr. Ellis, show them the next images." Samantha tapped her console. The screen changed to show detailed star maps of the Draconid home systems, their planets, colonies, and outposts. "While you were preparing to attack Earth, we sent unmanned probes with our fastest engines to map your territory," explained Reynolds. "We know where all your worlds are." Vexthor's eyes widened further. "Impossible. You couldn't have reached our system so quickly." "We did," said Reynolds. "And there's more." "Dr. Parker?" Dr. Jillian Parker stepped forward. "The technology we use to disable your fleet can be modified. We've developed weapons that specifically target Draconid biology and technology. We could deliver these weapons to every world in your collective." "You're bluffing," said Vexthor, but uncertainty showed in his voice. "Are we?" Reynolds gestured to Lieutenant Martinez. Olivia tapped her console. One of the smaller Draconid ships suddenly lost power completely, its lights going dark. "That was just one ship," said Reynolds. "We could do the same to every vessel, every installation, every world in your collective." The alien commander was silent for a long moment. "What are your terms?" "First, you will return to your territory and never threaten Earth or any human colony again." "Agreed," said Vexthor quickly. "Second, you will end your policy of eliminating emerging species. Each civilization has the right to develop without interference. This caused visible distress in the alien. But the Council of Seven has maintained this policy for millennia. It is our way." "Find a new way," said Reynolds firmly. "Because if you attack another emerging species, we will know, and we will respond." "And third?" asked Vexthor, clearly expecting more demands. "Third, you will release any species currently under your control. The days of the Draconid Collective as conquerors are over." The alien commander looked off-screen, apparently consulting with others. After several minutes, he turned back. "We accept your terms. The Collective will withdraw from your system. We will reconsider our policies regarding emerging species." "Good," said Reynolds. "But know this, High Commander. This is Earth's final warning to the Draconid Collective and to the entire galaxy. Attack humanity again and be annihilated." She gestured for the transmission to be cut. The screen went dark. Admiral Hughes looked at her with respect. "You think they'll keep their word?" "They will if they're smart," said Reynolds. "But we'll be watching. Captain Clark, please escort their fleet to the edge of our solar system. Make sure they leave." "With pleasure, Madam President," replied Ethan. 3 days later, the last Draconid ship disappeared into deep space. Earth began the long process of rebuilding. The colonies on Mars and other outposts would take years to restore, but humanity had survived its first interstellar war. In the White House garden, President Reynolds met with the team that had been central to Earth's victory. Captain Clark, Dr. Ellis, Lieutenant Martinez, Dr. Parker, Commander Wells, and Admiral Hughes gathered around a small table. The news is spreading throughout the galaxy, said Dr. Ellis, looking at her datapad. We've detected communications between dozens of worlds discussing Earth's defeat of the Draconid Collective. How are they reacting? Asked Reynolds, with disbelief mostly. The Draconids were feared throughout this sector of the galaxy. No one thought they could be defeated, especially not by a primitive species like us. Admiral Hughes smiled. They underestimated human ingenuity and determination, added Commander Wells. What about the other species under Draconid control? Asked Martinez. They're watching carefully, replied Samantha. Some have already begun asserting their independence. The collective's grip is weakening. And Earth? Asked Reynolds. What's our place in this new galactic community? Captain Clark leaned forward. We've received 7 requests for communication from different alien species in the past day alone. They want to establish diplomatic relations. And trade, added Dr. Parker. They're particularly interested in our technology. So we've gone from unknown to galactic power in less than 3 months, mused Reynolds. Not just a power, said Samantha. A symbol. For thousands of years, the Draconids have been the bullies of this sector of space. Now worlds that have lived in fear see that they can be stopped. We should be careful, warned Admiral Hughes. We don't want to become feared ourselves. Reynolds nodded. Agreed, we won't be conquerors. But we will be defenders. Any species that wants to live peacefully will find a friend in humanity. 6 months later, the first alien diplomatic mission arrived on Earth. Representatives from 12 different species came to establish formal relations with humanity. Many were former subjects of the Draconid Collective, now asserting their independence. As Captain Clark and Dr. Ellis watched the proceedings from a balcony overlooking the United Nations Hall, Samantha smiled. Not bad for a species that only achieved faster-than-light travel 5 years ago. Ethan nodded. We've come a long way. Where do you think we go from here? Asked Samantha. Out there, said Ethan, looking up at the stars visible through the glass ceiling. But this time, not alone, and not afraid. In the Great Hall below, President Reynolds signed the first interstellar treaty in human history. The document established the Alliance of Free Worlds with Earth as a founding member. Throughout the galaxy the story spread, how humanity had stood against the mighty Draconid Collective and won. How a single warning had changed the balance of power among the stars. Attack Earth again and be annihilated. It was a warning the galaxy would remember for generations to come.